because the episodic storytelling is non-existent at points, even though Dave says there's too many stories on that show, which is fascinating.
Russo'sBrand.com, where the pros are the pros. I got to tell you, Glenn, I'm at the point now where I'm not rooting against AEW. I've never rooted against AEW. But, bro, I am at the point now of I could care less if they go out of business or stay in business. Either way. And I'll tell you why, Glenn. I will tell you why. Glenn, we've been watching Tony Khan now for 5 freaking years. We have seen a guy make so many mistakes over and over and over again. And you've heard guys like me, Cornette, you, Bischoff, just repeating. Who?
Bully, Booker.
Bully, yeah, right.
Like literally everybody that has a voice now, the old school guys that aren't regular performers, they're all saying echoing the exact same thing.
The
exact all worked in WCW and WWE.
Yes, the exact same thing for 5 years now. This guy has not changed the way he's done business whatsoever. And I swear, bro, I am really starting to believe, and I am very much convinced, bro, this is a tax write-off. Shad Khan is making so much money in so many other areas that he needed a loss, because there's no other way to explain Tony Khan not making the necessary changes he needs to make. There's no other explanation for it, man.
You can tell that what the you can tell one company is interested in making money and the other company is not.
Yes.
And this is where after 5 years, this is where we are with with AEW. Okay.
Yes.
They are, and I think Mark Henry, who has worked recently, another guy, he echoes something very similar to this. And I mentioned this a couple months ago. With him and then you have to include Dave in this conversation, because Dave is the mouthpiece, kind of like a PR department for Tony Khan, and Tony Khan tweets a lot. I thought the show was great tonight. Deserved this is awesome chance. I feel like going to Tony's like Tony's like you keep tweeting the same stuff.
Right.
You keep saying much deserved just as dude, you're literally still feeding into that live crowd. If they like the show and everything, that's not your audience, right? Your audience is the hundreds of thousands of people out there you got to get. Oh, I want to talk about just a little sidebar. I want to see if you agree with this, because I think you probably would agree, but I think this is a textbook definition. There was a conversation and some people were talking last week, like I think Dave was talking about, like, what is the casual fan? Okay, let me ask you again. In your mind, what is the casual fan?
I think this is a casual. Now, are you talking casual wrestling or casual television?
Casual wrestling fan.
I think a casual wrestling fan is, they will watch the product if they think it's good, if it appeals to them.
Correct.
If not, and bro, but Glenn, let me just say this. That goes with any television show.
Right. Because
you'll follow a television show as long as it's good till they lose you.
Correct.
Right.
And so you said the exact same thing that I said.
Right.
They'll watch it when it's good.
Right.
And they'll stop watching when it's not.
Absolutely.
The level of creative determines whether or not they watch a show.
Any show.
Right. But then the thing with professional wrestling, why it's such an interesting genre on television, okay, with the exception of sports, okay, it has created a fan base of habitual
that's
viewers.
True. Yep.
Over the course of 40-something, 50, like years and years and years, they develop a base of fans, okay, and they take them through a journey, weekly television. And when it's good, you draw more fans.
Right. Yes.
And then if it gets bad, those fans
you lose it, and you go right down to the core audience.
But
right.
You still have that habitual base.
That's right. Okay? Right.
So the fascinating thing about like AEW, like a WWE, is and with you, bro, the thing that draws the fans is good episodic soap opera storytelling.
Yes. Yep.
Period.
Yep.
And if this, you can't find any other metric that you can point to says this is good, because, bro, AEW still thinks if they put they came after all this of them, going down. The ratings are going down. That they decided, okay, we're the best wrestle. Is our slogan, like we're the best wrestlers,
right?
Like people are tuned, like they still think people are tuning in to watch these guys wrestle. It's like if that was the case, like you guys would be doing WWE numbers and WWE would do the opposite of it because you would think that the matches are so great because the best wrestlers are there, more people be watching,
right?
But they don't. Because the episodic storytelling is non-existent at points, even though Dave says there's too many stories on that show, which is fascinating.
Glenn, that goes with any television show, bro, because I got to tell you, man, I was an avid Yellowstone fan. What a great freaking show. Well, the creator of Yellowstone and Costner had a falling out, so they had to prematurely write Costner out. Right. Since they wrote Costner out, bro, the show has sucked. Right. Absolutely. And what's happened? They've lost a lot of their viewership. Vince McMahon said if it's good, they'll watch it.
Yeah. Well, this bro, you're right. But the thing is like, and that's why you have to kind of give, I don't want to say give professional wrestling a pass, because like, I do think at oftentimes, because we've been there. When you get writer's block creatively and stuff, and like you're on a time constraint, and sometimes you didn't deliver a good show or the best thing, but you couldn't come up with enough stuff in the amount of time that we were given, and they got to do it every week. But you can just easily go back and like some of the more popular shows of like our generation, like 24. Jack Bauer, bro. The first 2 seasons were like, wow, this is great. Third season's like, I didn't really like that. Fourth season's like, I didn't like. Fifth season, wow, this is a really good season. This is like, you know what I'm saying? Like same thing with Game of Thrones. You can point to a couple of the seasons that weren't as good, right? And the numbers dictated that, So the writers go back to the drawing board and they write and they try to cook up, better stuff, which is like, it's a challenge creatively, But yeah, it's
Wait, Glenn, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question along those lines before you get to the next point. It's hard to ask you this question because the freaking Braves have won the division for 20 years, but I'm going to use the Falcons for example. Mm-hmm. And bro, I do understand with you, fantasy comes into play, and also you're there in Vegas, so you like the books and whatnot. I understand all that, but bro, like in sports with you. When your teams are out of it, do you still watch them?
No.
See, I'm the same way, bro. Like when my team's out of it, it's the same exact thing. If your team is good and they're winning and they're in it, you're going to watch it. The second they're out of it, you're not watching it anymore.
Right.